it is time for our November rolls, as well as going over how October went. So first we are going to go over how the October rolls went. We were at level 7. Let's see how it shook out. So first I rolled a 16, getting a dryad. Read a book that deals with birth, death, or rebirth. And I read Ruin and Rising on my Kindle. I did complete that. I got the whole 200 experience points from that, but I also got an extra bonus of 1,000 from my Barbarian bonus, which is reading a fast-paced book or one with a lot of action and fighting, which this one definitely had. So I got plus 1,200 points from that. And then this one also came with a side quest, which was for the Blood Fury Tattoo, which is a book featuring blood or tattoos, getting me 10,000 points, possibly. And I picked Prince of Thorns and Nightmares. As you can see, there's still a bookmark in it. I have not finished it. This is first time this has happened. I didn't read that many other books that were buddy read or anything like that to get any inspiration, so we have to roll for disadvantage. We rolled for disadvantage and we got a 3, which means that I need to add 50 pages to a page number monster prompt. Use this disadvantage when you receive a relevant prompt. We'll see if that affects me. However, I do still have from my buddy read of Gifted and Talented, I still have subtract 100 pages from a monster prompt with a book page requirement. Still haven't had the monster thing happen yet, so I guess it's just subtract 100 pages, add 50 pages, so I'll just subtract 50 from whatever it is and use both of those. So not terrible. However, the other thing is that I should not be able to get the Blood Fury Tattoo, but I'm gonna make a caveat. Because I have at least started it, and I had a hard month. Because I've at least started it, it's just going to be rolled over into November, and I have to finish it to still get that side quest point total and the side quest item. It's just a long side quest. That's okay. And I'm still doing my same 3 rolls, so now it's just like, this is the disadvantage, is that you still have to finish this book, which I am really liking already. It's just, I just have not had time. And I tried to really game the system, and I was going to get it on Audible. It doesn't exist on Audible. It doesn't have an audiobook. Doesn't have one on Libby, didn't have one on Audible. And so I was struggling because I was like, I can't read this physically right now. Then I rolled a 6, which was a Banshee. And so I had to read a book that has death themes, or a gothic book, or a book that has a ghost-like being. And so I picked Percy Jackson and the Last Olympian, and I read it because it has lovely Nico, who is our ghost-like being, as well as a lot of death. A lot of people die in this book. So I read this, which got me 1,100 points plus another 1,000 because, again, Barbarian bonus. It is a fast-paced book, and it also does have a lot of action and fighting. And so we actually got 2,100 points from reading this book. But we also rolled for another side quest, which is, we tried again for the bottle of Boundless Coffee, which is to read a comfort read kind of book. And I know I said I was going to read one of these two. I picked Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands because I got the Libby hold in for the audiobook of this first. And so I picked it, and I'm really glad that I did because this felt super duper cozy comfort read. Fit the prompt, I think, actually extra well. I did read it, and so that is another 10,000 points added. And then I rolled a 15, which was the Sprite Forest, and I rolled high enough to be able to save the forest to earn 45,000 points. I picked Scorpion and the Night Blossom, so I had to read a book where the main character is searching for something, which this main character was. However, I did DNF this book, but I DNF'd it after 50%. I still felt kind of skeezy getting 45,000 experience points from only reading half of this book. I decided to half the experience points and only earn 22,500 from this book instead of the full 45,000. I did read half of it. I didn't like it enough to finish it, but it is getting something off of my physical TBR, which is great. It just didn't really hit for me, which sucks, but we still get some points from it. And then the last thing, because I was crazy and I rolled 4 times last month, was a 13, and I had the Demolic Crypt, which is to read a book you think will be a 5-star read, and upon completing it, you receive the full 18,000 experience points because I rolled high enough for a critical hit. Yay. And I was between Emily Wilde or Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. I picked Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea because the other one got picked for the other thing. I read it, I finished it. It wasn't a 5-star read, unfortunately. It was a 4.75 because it didn't quite have the 5-star feel, but it wasn't quite 4.5-star material because the problems that I had with it, I felt like weren't that big. So it was 4.75. So it was really, really close to a 5-star read. And it said, just read one that you think would be one. And I did think it would, just didn't quite get there, but it was still really good. So I get 18,000 points from that, as well as a bonus 1,000, so 19,000 points actually, because of my barbarian bonus, because this was a super fast-paced book, which was actually kind of one of its downfalls, was that things weren't like super fast. It is obviously a very small book, but it went like really fast, and I would have liked actually more time with some things. I am now, or Hella Fizzlespec, I should say, my D&D character. She is now at 79,900 experience points, making her a level 10. So we went up 3 levels. We have plenty of experience points right now. And now we are going to roll for November. I have high hopes, but not that high of hopes. Seeing how much I was reading during October with how much I was doing work and rehearsals, even though I was really liking a lot of my books and I felt like I was doing a lot of reading, when I looked back, I only read 4 books. I DNF'd one. It wasn't a great month. It was actually, looking at my full year, it's actually the worst month I've had in terms of amount of books read. I'm gonna stick with just my 3 rolls. I'm not gonna go crazy this time, especially because I still have to finish Prince of Thorns and Nightmares, so that's basically another roll. I'm just gonna stick with my 3 and not go crazy this time. I do still have rehearsals in November because it's the month of when we actually do the show, so it actually gets even more intense and I'm there for even longer. However, I do have Thanksgiving break where I'm done with that show, although we are still working on the 1 act, but that's coming together actually really easily and I'm not super stressed about that. That's not until like the month is almost over that I get that break, so who knows what's gonna happen. Let's roll for November. Let's do our first roll with our, I call these my gelatinous cube dice. They are super duper cool. They actually like have like a couple of bubbles in them to actually look like gelatinous cubes. I don't know if that's gonna show up well, but they also glow in the dark, which is fantastic. So our first one, let's go for it. And we got a natural 1. Oops, I don't know how this is gonna go. So a nat 1, So that's main quest, so it's a dungeon. Starting or continuing on the main journey for your character. This is a pivotal time to collect experience. See what monsters you will encounter. Your head is clear. You feel prepared to take on whatever is next. Due to your current zeal and preparedness, please read your prompt. This is a challenge rating of 2, 450 experience points. Side quest option available, as well as our prompt is a highly anticipated read or a book from your top TBR list. Well, that is very open-ended and should be very easy to find a book for. I chose a book that I was debating picking for last month because I really wanted to read it, but I was like, no, I should probably read one of the books that's like on a list for things. But this month, this has been staring at me and I really, really, really want to read it. So we're gonna do it. It is The Lost Story by Meg Schaefer. I really, really want to read this. It's pretty small, it's pretty short. This seems right up my alley. It's very cozy feeling. It's a Narnia-inspired fairy tale for grown-ups who still knock on the back of wardrobe doors. It just sounds so comforting. So yes, highly anticipated read that I really, really want to read, because I was looking for this for forever. I finally was able to get it in a paperback version for not super duper expensive, which is amazing. So I'm very excited. How many pages is it actually? There's a golden apple Christmas cake recipe. It is 322 pages. That sounds perfect. That is just like Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. That is what I'm talking about. So we will start with that, and let's get our side quest rolling. A 10. Okay, so Eyes of the Eagle. So you place the eyes of the eagle over your own, and suddenly everything sharpens. Details once missed now burn bright in full focus. Nothing escapes your gaze. So choose a book that connects to a larger series, mythology, or world you've only glimpsed before. In parentheses, continue a series. So I'm going to take it as that is just pick a book that continues a series, because that sounds easy, and there's a lot of series that I want to continue. I think I'm going to choose one that I have started so many times, and it's not really started. It's like I read like the first page and I'm like, I'm gonna read this, and then I don't. So we're gonna actually do it this time, and that is on my Kindle. I'm going to read Vengeance of the Pirate Queen, because that is the last in the little trilogy by Trisha Levenseller, and I want to complete that trilogy. I've been pushing it off for so long, and I'm not too upset about it, because the first two very much feel like a duology, because they center around the same girl, and now this one is about like her first mate, so it's like about somebody else who's kind of the main character. It's still in the same world, the same kind of stuff is happening. So like, I'm not too upset that I've waited this long to read it, because I feel like I'll still be able to catch up on things pretty easily. I want to get it done. And we will get 10,000 points from that. Let's roll again. 19. 19. So that's another dungeon. Scarecrow's Cornfield. I'm scared of like the really high ones, because I feel like it's harder, or like just more points are at stake. So at harvest time, when death revisits the twilight world and summer blossoms bow their withered heads, eerie scarecrows loom in silent vigil over empty fields. A scarecrow is animated by the bound spirit of a slain evil creature, granting it purpose and mobility. I just realized this is kind of funny, because we're doing Wizard of Oz right now, and it's the Scarecrow's Cornfield. It just makes me giggle. A neutral evil leader in this land has taken control of the farms with his horde of 230 scarecrows. The folk of this area are suffering from mass starvation. Holy poop. Challenge rating of 15, 20,000 experience points available, and another side quest option. Prompt: a loose stitch. There is a large mass of crows flying together overhead we could take advantage of to pick apart the scarecrows. Read a book with a fragmented structure, multiple perspectives, or an unreliable narrator. Fragmented structure could include mixed media or a non-traditional narrative structure. Well, as soon as it said multiple perspectives, I think I know what I'm going to read. Currently reading, which is The Lost Hero, which is the first in the Heroes of Olympus series, and it has multiple perspectives. It has Jason, Piper, and Leo's perspectives, so works out great for that. I am like 100 pages into it, but it's like a 500-page book, so I'm not that deep into it. So I get 20,000 points from that, which is great. And I'll probably also get a barbarian bonus, because Percy Jackson series are always fast-paced, always have a lot of action and fighting. Now we just need to roll for our side quest. And we got a 7. So that's Chime of Opening. Can unlock any door, gate, walkway that takes a key or has a locking mechanism. Read a book with a key, keyhole, or a door on the cover. Well, I'm upset that I already picked this one. And I think the way that she originally intended this game to be is that you could like double up on the books that you have, but I feel like that's cheating. And I want to get as many books read and off my TBR as possible. So I'm not going to use this one for that, even though it does have a door on it. I'm going to use something else. This one actually works pretty perfectly. I could have gone for a couple different ones with the door kind of thing, but I think I wanted to really go with one that has a key, because Chime of Opening just feels like I'm getting a key, so I want something with a key. So I picked this honker of a book, which is The Courting of Bristol Keats. It's huge. Another big reason why I want to read this one is because it is the last one of my Fairy Loots from last year, which I want to have read or DNF'd, or just like gotten through all of the ones that I got last year, as well as half of the ones for this year, but I've already like started a good amount of the ones for this year and finished. So this is the last one that I need to read, and then that goal is complete because I got this in December last year, so let's do it. And I have started to listen to it, so we are a little bit into it, but it's a big chunker. It's over 500 pages, I believe, by a good bit. Yeah, that's 553 pages, which is lovely, but it needs to be done. It needs to go. So we'll read that. And it does have 2 keys, not just 1, 2 keys, and a keyhole. So it like super fits because it does have to do with Faye, and she's supposed to be like finding a door or something for them. So like it really fits this prompt, and I'll get 10,000 points from that. Now let's roll for our last prompt. This is the last one that I'm rolling for. 12. We get a monster. Yay! Fomorian. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but a Fomorian. The most hideous and wicked of all giant kind. The godless Fomorians have deformed bodies and vile demeanor. They emit terrible howls each time they draw breath through their misshapen mouths. The elves remember when Fomorian were amongst the most handsome of races, possessing brilliant minds and unrivaled magical ability. However, a lust for magic and power consumed them. When the Fae united to defend their realm, the Fomorians fought them and were subjected to a terrible curse. Fomorian. Read a book containing a curse or a monster-like being. This could be a cursed object, a cursed person, a cursed land. This could also be a fantasy or horror book with a monster-like being. Well, I have one that contains a curse, so let's do that. I'm going to read, finally, Bloodmarked, which is the second in the Legendborn cycle. I know Oathbound has been out like most of this year, so I need to get this done so I can get to the third one so my friends can get off my back because they really want me to catch up to talk about it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it, guys, because what has set me off of not wanting to do that yet is because it is a physical book that I have to read. I could get the audiobook. I tried that for the first one and was not liking it, and then I stopped listening to it and I just read it and I loved it so much more. It got up to a 5-star rating, and it was just because I found the audiobook narrator kind of annoying. I didn't like the way she said Arthur, and it's based on a King Arthur legend, so it comes up a lot. That's the other thing, is that this has to be read physically, and she's not small. This looks small. That's because the pages are really thin. She is another 500 pager. 500 and those are acknowledgements. 557. So that's a lot. That's about as big as this one, even though it looks like it's smaller. It's still just as many pages. Yeah, that's what set me off from not wanting to read this one and finish it, but it works really well, and it keeps working well for a lot of the prompts, and I keep not picking it. We just need to get it done because I don't have a roll for a side quest for this one, so I know I'm only going to have 5, 6 technically with Prince of Thorns and Nightmares. So I think I can do that. And also with Lost Story being so small, with Lost Hero being at least a quarter of the way done, and I've already started on this one, and it seems to be going like pretty quickly even with how big it is. I think it's time that we do this one so I can at least have finished this one even if I don't start or finish Oathbound. This one will have been done, and then I can get Oathbound later. Maybe for a Christmas present or something, if I really, really like it, which I think I will, because I loved the first one. And it's about a curse. She's cursed, so it works well for the prompt. And I might get 3,900 experience points from that, as well as it'll probably get me a barbarian bonus because even though it's definitely not going to be fast-paced, it does have a lot of action and fighting. That's it. That's my little stack. We have 6 books technically, even though I rolled for just 5, and I'm rolling over Prince of Thorns and Nightmares so I can get my Blood Fury tattoo because I am already currently reading it, and I'm pretty excited about this. I think I'm really excited about it mainly because I get to read this book because I really want to read it, and because I'm done with Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. I'm moving on to Heroes of Olympus, so I'm very excited. And I know I could have used more Heroes of Olympus books for this, but I don't like doing that where it's just like most of the prompts are just more from the series, because that's mainly what I'm going to be reading is the stuff from this list, and I can't really read the next one if I haven't read the one before it. And right now I'm already 3 of the current books on my list, and I like that because then once I finish those 3, I'm halfway done. Stay tuned for how I do with my November rolls, as well as what the December rolls will be, the last ones for this year. I will definitely be continuing it. I don't know how things are gonna go. I don't know if Tori Between the Pages is going to come out with a new side quest option or something like that, a new expansion. If not, I'll get to the storybook Snare at some point, maybe in December, see how I feel, see how burnt out I feel, but we'll see. But right now I'm already at level 10, and this technically is ending, or it finishes when you hit level 20. That'll be really cool. I think it'll end either by the time I hit level 20, or if I still have side quests or dungeons or monsters that I haven't done yet, I'll just keep going until I've done all of them, because I think that'll be really, really fun. And it has been very good at motivating me because I don't like not finishing the prompts. And I know I didn't finish one of them this last month, but it was also just a side quest, so I don't feel as bad about that. Hopefully no DNFs this month. I have a pretty good feeling that that's not going to happen with the books that I've picked, which is really exciting. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I'll see you next time.